would help if you turn on your audio equipment. That would help. Yes, indeed. All right, there we go. Grrrrr. Greetings, humans. Greetings, and welcome back to another fun-filled episode. That's right. Bear here, 29-year veteran of the woods, and today, you know what? I tell you what, people, sometimes Bear comes on and always so happy and everything. I tell you what, people, I'm sorry I have some disappointing news here for some of you. Last week, actually not even a week ago, Wednesday, we were actually talking about, the poor Capitol Hill fox. Fortunately, they euthanized the poor Capitol Hill fox. Well, Bear has subsequently learned that also they took out, I tell you what, they took out his children as well. So we need to have justice for the Capitol foxes. That's right. So, Bear was a little bit disappointed about that. I could do a whole show. We could do a whole show on that, but Bear will not. He will not subject you to that. We're gonna go ahead and get right on into some more important things there. Marco for Anthony, good to see you here. Glad to have you. I haven't seen you in a while. Let's see. No. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Learning new things every day. Well, I tell you what. I mean, Bear is a renaissance bear out there, as it were. All sorts of stuff. Well, I tell you what, we go from terrible, sad news of mass genocide of foxes on the Capitol grounds to what I would assume more people would kind of want to hear and talk about, which would actually be, Marco for Anthony, busty anime ladies out there. Yes, indeed. So let's go ahead. Without neither gibber nor jabber, let's just go ahead and get right on into it because this is a very, very important thing for us here. This comes from, let's see, it is Bounding Into Comics. Yes, indeed. From Spencer Bakuli. I apologize, sir. I don't know. Or she. I don't even know. Let's just go with Spencer here. Sony censors cover art for PlayStation 4 release of, say it with me, people, say it with me, Miss Kobayashi's Dragonmind, Bust Forth, and Chronogone Starbreath. Yes, indeed. Saw indeed. Yes, indeed. Alright, so we are talking here about it's a PlayStation game that comes out of Japan that actually made its way over to the States, but they have some issues there, and we're going to go ahead and get right on into it here. He says, or she, whoever, it doesn't matter, in the latest application of Sony's sweeping and seemingly anti-anime censorship policy, the PlayStation release of Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid Burst Forth, Chronogun Starbreath, has had its cover art censored due to one of its main characters' busty appearance. Oh my goodness, oh my lordy. So there's some ladies of the video game there, unfortunately, apparently, a little too stacked for the censors over there at Sony. Yes, indeed. Good to see P-Money here. Good to see P-Money. Let's see. Marco for Anthony says, or just has a thing for Dragon Maid, I see. Well, we'll find out. We will find out. As he's, inspired by the anime adaptation of, oh boy, Kusimeyama manga series of the same name. It just rolls off the tongue. Oh boy. Miss Kobayashi Dragon Maid Bust Forth Chronoguard Starbreath is a top-down bullet hell style shoot-em-up game a la the Toro Project or the Raiden series, which sees the titular Kobayashi and her dragon companions sucked into a PC and forced to fight their way out. That's unfortunate. That is very unfortunate. Actually, we've got a picture here of it. Bring it up here. And there we go. There's a neat little image of the game here. Taking control of a 3-person team comprised of Turu, Akana, and Elma. Players are tasked with flying and shooting their way through 5 different stages. All the while, the show's cast of characters provide humorous interaction and commentary along the way. But much like what Bear does here on his channel. Yes, indeed. So there you go. A little bit of, I don't know the other game, but yeah, it kind of looks like a little bit of a Raiden or maybe Gosh, what was the other shoot 'em up thing that they had? Oh, way back then. Way back. Anyways, whatever it says. Let's see. Let me do the thing with the thing here, and continue on, and continue. Whoops. There we go. Hold on. There we go. There we are. There's Bear. Yes, indeed. Though the game was already released to Japanese audience on March 24th, for both the Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 4, developer Axis officially announced on April 5th that the title would receive a full physical and digital release in the West sometime later this year. They tweeted rather, oh boy. Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid Brosto Kanragon Starbreath is coming summer 2022. After being abducted by a cursed PC, the dragons and Miss Kobayashi must continue their powers to escape in this new, shrimp, whatever, for PS4 and the Nintendo Switch. There we go. So there is the tweet, the offending tweet possibly. There we go. Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid Bust Forth Chronogon Bracker. Unfortunately, though not unsurprisingly, in this celebration that the admittedly niche title would be released outside of Japan, some players observed that a slight bit of censorship applied to the game's native PlayStation 4 release had been carried over to its English re-release. So let's go ahead, let's take a look, let's find out if there's a difference between the Switch version here and of course the PlayStation 4 here. I will let the chat decide and figure out where the just minor amount of censorship comes into play there. Let's see. As seen on the game's Nintendo Switch release, Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maze But for Chronogon Starbreath, a regular cover art features the game's core cast of characters, the aforementioned playable trio plus Lusa, whatever, and Kobayashi being shown from at least the waist up and arranged in a flower pattern, paying partial homage to the iconic silhouette poses of Charlie's Angels. Oh, okay, that's what it's about. Very cool. Very cool. Got their little handguns there, ready to blast away. However, on the PlayStation 4, the cover art has been significantly modified, with Kobayashi and Lukoa being pulled in slightly closer to the rest of the cast in an effort to hide the latter's voluptuous chest. Oh my gosh, she's smuggling some watermelons or something. Sadly, such an act of censorship has in recent years been par for the course for Sony. In late 2018, visual novel developer Light claimed... Hold on. In late 2018, visual novel developer Light, it's not capitalized, claimed that Sony has introduced a policy to censor games with sexual themes, not only for the West, but for Japanese audience as well. Well, what other kind of games are there, for crying out loud? Oh, the poor Japanese. They're only going to have Mario with just like a big censor pixel in there, and that's it. There we are. Oh, and let me go back and do the thing with it. I hope we were able to find the censor in there. Holy cow. Let's see. So it's a bullet hell game, apparently. We actually got, let's see. Oh, wonder all this day will come. Hey, good to see you, Miguel. Good to see you here. I think Bear is losing his mind. Just one day at a time. Just one day at a time. I wouldn't have been expecting a shoot-'em-up game from the series. Let's see. I think Marco for Anthony has it. Losing, I think Bear was already heading that direction long ago. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I love how Bear is reciting the whole title each time. It is a mouthful. Let's see. We all know Bears will buy a battle-mated knuckle bomb, a donut, what was it? Eating simulator. Oh boy. I tell you what, I can't go a day without being reminded of his enjoyment of Battle-Mated Knuckle Bomb. Anyways, they actually have a screenshot here of some of the playable characters there, apparently, that they're just too stacked. They're too stacked up top, unfortunately. Asked about the supposed policy, I'm continuing on here. Asked about the supposed policy and how it would balance with freedom of expression during a PlayStation event held in December, way back when. Sony Interactive Japan Asia President, Ashibuni Mortaro. Yeah. By the way, if you ever want to say a Japanese name, you just go, and it kind of sounds pretty close there. Explained about the censorship we try to meet, quote, global standards. Ooh, global standards. Regarding the balance of freedom of expression and safety for children, it's a tough problem to deal with, he admitted in a follow-up. The policy was later confirmed to exist in 2019 with a Sony spokeswoman, a Sony spokeswoman, citing the rise of the Me Too #MeToo movement. Which, by the way, the whole Me Too thing. I mean, the people that were in charge of that are no complete frauds. I think they were covering up for the crazy what was it, the murder nips, the governor up there in New York, that crazy guy. Anyways, let's see. Sony spokesman citing the rise of the Me Too movement and increasing popularity of YouTube and Twitch as contributing. Why are they blaming YouTube as contributing factors to their censorious efforts? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I tell you what. Let's find some more censorious content there. There we are. There's some censorious content. Let's see. In February 2021, CyberConnect 2 president and CEO revealed that Sony even had regulations against scenes of violence, particularly those featuring dismemberment. This is because the loss of limbs and characters that look human is prohibited by Sony Interactive Entertainment, he revealed. For example, even the Minato Nakasame from Naruto is a corpse resurrected by unholy reincarnation. If it looks human, it's out. It's out of there. Out of there. Likewise, in 2021, Team Salvo announced that the PlayStation release of a Doki Doki Literature Club Plus ! Would be censored by editing one of the game's suicide scenes. Oh my goodness. To have black blood instead of red. Okay. Actually, I didn't have that, so let me pull that up here. Beer with beer here. Beer with beer, where is it? There we go. They actually had to edit that out for some reason. I don't know why. It's just black blood, but whatever. Oh, whatever. Such censorship. That's a tongue twister. Such censorship also seems to be almost exclusively leveled towards Japanese games. How racist. As titles developed by Sony's US-based studios, including The Last of Us 2 and God of War, are not only allowed to include realistic depictions of both sex and violence without impunity, but also lauded by the company as the pinnacle of what the medium can achieve. Including, I believe this was I gotta tread lightly on this one. But a more. The lady here had a lot of testosterone in her. Let's just say that. By the way, I mean, freaking Grand Theft Auto has a strip club in there. I mean, there's some stuff out there. Well, what do you make of Sony censorship of, say it with me, everybody, Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid bust forth, Chronogon Starbreath? Let us know your thoughts on social media, or in the comments down below, or just right here on Bear's channel. Yes, indeed. So there we go. There we are. That is a very scary look right there. Very scary look. I would probably have that look too if the quote-unquote lady here was trying to kill me as well. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All right, let's see what the chat has to say here. Holy cow, you're rolling by here. Let's see. It's not like anyone couldn't tell her boobs are there. Not really doing anything. That's like smuggling some watermelons or something. I don't know. We all know bears will. Oh yeah, I got that. How to treat a woman? Are you just smuggling melons? Or are you happy to see me? Yes, I would order the special edition. Only on the Switch though. I don't even have a Switch. I got that. A Doki Doki Literature Club, yes indeed. I don't know what happened to their noses. Checking to make sure my wife is not going to walk in on them. You're right, VM. It's not my thing. Bear is not a very big anime person, but You know, I mean, I'm not against it or anything like that. It's just it's just not his cup of tea, as it were. Oh no, their arms were blown off. Never mind. Seen that before in a game. Oh, just change the rating. Yes, indeed. Leaving lots of things about beer. This is what happens when you miss like 6 months worth of videos here, Marco for Anthony. I mean, you learned something new. I'm sure. Old P Money here will tattle on Bill, just as much as he can here in the comments section. So, anyways, there you go with the title. Say it with me, everybody. Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid Bust Forth Chronogon Starbreath is being censored by poor old Sony. Poor old Sony. There we go. Holy cow! It's like it's like the where you've got like the midgets, like they're kind of standing on each other's shoulders to kind of like get into like the club or something like that. You need to be this tall to be able to ride the. That's what it looks like. It looks like she's smuggling some midgets in her chest there. But that's all right. I'm assuming it has some sort of a gameplay mechanic in there where you can like spin around or something like that and kind of knock away the I don't know what they were knocking away here. What were they? Some sort of I don't know triangle. They're in a computer somewhere. I don't know. Don't ask Bear about the game. But anyways, there we go. We're talking about censorship, not only from Sony, people. I tell you what, we've actually got a number of stuff here that is kind of in that same realm here. So let's go ahead and continue on here. We were talking about a little while ago Warner Brothers. So Warner Brothers was bought by AT&T a little while back. Kind of had some misfortunate incidents. That, by the way, it was I think it was right before AT&T came on board. They were trying to sell the company there, so they were trying to put out the Justice League. So that's one of the reasons that the Justice League was like so rushed, and like they took oh man, why they didn't leave Superman's mustache in, I never know. That was a great mustache. But all those mustache, they took all that stuff. The reason that it was rushed is because all those executives were trying to sell the company and make a whole lot of money before they skedaddled out of there. And AT&T, well, AT&T bought it, and I tell you what, it was turned into a clunker. Out there. So it looks like the Discovery Network is actually buying into Warner Brothers. We're gonna check out a little bit about that there. All right, Discovery and Warner. By the way, this is our good friends at Deadline and Daddy, whatever, Hayes. Discovery and Warner Brothers Media have closed their long-awaited mega merger, creating a top-scale media player and streaming contender, ending an ill-fated foray into entertainment. By AT&T. The combination will unite such disparate assets as HBO, CNN, and the nearly 100-year-old Warner Brothers film studio, with unscripted programming juggernauts like the Food Network. I always watching Guy Ferrari out there. I mean, he's going to the diners, the drive-ins, and the dives out there. I've never seen him maybe cook anything. He's always out there, poking other people. But I don't know. Good old Guy Ferrari out there. HGTV and 90 Day is 90 Day Fiance is it a network? I didn't know that. It's one of the most consequential media mergers since Disney. We'll talk about them in just a minute here. Bought most of 21st Century Fox in 2019, and it leaves the kind of questions that the mega deal prompted about comings and goings in the executive ranks. So they talk about some of these executives that are coming or going there. Warner Brothers Discovery stock is expected to begin full trading Monday under the ticker symbol WBD. So get your pocketbooks out for that. It's already begun changing hands on a when-issued basis. Shares ended the day up 6% at a relative bargain of $24.43. Under the all-stock reverse Morris Trust transaction. Try saying that 3 times fast. AT&T gets about $40 billion in cash. Just a small amount. About the amount that gets laundered or stolen from, the Bitcoin realm there. Just a small amount. And debt securities and Warner Media's retention of certain debt. Shareholders in the telecom giant now own about 71% of the new company, getting 0.2% shares of Warner Brothers for each share of AT&T common stock that they had. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, we're moving on. The deal creates one of the largest pure-play entertainment entities in existence, though its stock market value at the onset is far that from Disney, Comcast, and Netflix. Well, Netflix doesn't have that many theme parks out there. The company has projected a combined revenue of 49.8 I think they mean billion. $49.8 billion in 2022 and $52 billion in 2023. That puts it in the range of Disney's revenue minus the theme parks and resorts that Netflix doesn't have, and significantly higher than NBC Universal's 2021 total. In the announcements of the Friday deal, the CEO called in a exciting milestone, not just for Warner Brothers. I almost called it Warner Brothers Disney. Warner Brothers Discovery, but for our shareholders, our distributors, our advertisers, our creative partners, and of course, most importantly, consumers globally. Because when you want to say most importantly, you want to leave your consumers dead last. The CEO says, with our collective assets and diversified business model, Warner Brothers Discovery offers the most differentiated and complete portfolio of content across film, television, and streaming. Yes, indeed. So there you go. Let's see. Blah, 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 blah. The nature of the deal, which did not involve a U.S. broadcast network or multiple movie studios, enabled it to pass smoothly through a 10-month regulatory process. Then and close earlier than initial forecasts. There were never any serious rumblings of opposition to the combination. Well, a beer would be one. Though it does create a colossus on the cable side, with TNT, TBS, CNN, Cartoon Network, and others joining Discovery's portfolio of 19 networks. I didn't know they had that many. Wow. Wowzers. Previously horizontal mergers like CBS and Viacom, and and Discovery's last major transaction buying Scripps Network Interactive also pulled vast cable assets together. So one of the things that we're kind of talking about here is basically the consolidation of all these companies here. So we'll get to Disney here in just a second, but trying to figure out ways of how to make sure some of these companies actually respond to their consumers, even though they're in last place under most valued consumers. You're in last place there. So how do you kind of, let's just say, kind of a lot of consternation out there about the Batman movie that just came out. Some people like it. Some people didn't like it for various reasons and whatnot. Well, maybe one of the reasons why was because there was a little bit too much of identity politics in there. So, okay, how do we make sure as loyal consumers out here for Disney Warner Brothers, how do we kind of not only make our opinions known, but how do those opinions come into kind of changing how the way that they do some of this stuff? So one of the first things that you can do is not let it pass smoothly through a 10-month regulatory process. A giant company like that, they should have been for example, a lot of people don't like the CNN. Well, CNN is being basically funded by a lot of the other cable side of stuff. So let's just say you love TNT or TBS for some reason. You're basically subsidizing CNN, even though you don't watch it, you don't like it, you don't care about it. You're still subsidizing it. So what they really need to do is kind of spin off some of that stuff and make either CNN or TBS or whoever, Cartoon Network, make sure that they can follow along on their own. They can walk on their own feet. And they're not actually being subsidized by, all the other popular channels. Like ESPN is a really big popular channel that everybody watches. Well, they're subsidizing a lot of the other channels that you wonder why there's 500 channels on cable. Well, they're being subsidized by all. The big channels are subsidizing all the little channels out there. So one of the ways to kind of combat some of that stuff is take a little bit more of a look here at the sort of regulatory process, and there is public announcements or public feedback that you can give and say, hey, we don't want that. We don't want a complete consolidation under one giant umbrella of all this stuff. It doesn't need to, allow competition and allow it to allow them to compete against each other and lift all the boats together, as it were. Yes, indeed. Let's see. 90 Day Finance is considered a programming juggernaut. I had no idea, never watched it, didn't know. A bear is now deflecting from the anime collection. Bear is hiding in the background. Yes, indeed. This is the best thing ever. 2 weeks later, the show is now canceled. Let's see. Oh, I'm sorry. I missed VM here. Let's see. Is Bear like the character King from OPM? I have no idea what you're talking about, but we'll just go ahead and say yes. Why don't we just go ahead and say yes, and we'll see where it takes us. We'll see where it takes us. Let's see. P Money says, "Ooh, Netflix theme park. Come play Squid Games yourself." Good one. That's a good one, P Money. That's a good one. All right, just rounding it out here. Streaming has hastened the conglomeration. This isn't even a real word, people. Commingling, rather. I guess that's a real word. Of Warner Media's divisions and also fuel many of the new company's strategic moves. HBO Max, which launched in 2020, will ultimately be combined rather into a single service with Discovery Plus. Though that process will take months, if not longer. So it would be HBO Max Discovery Plus. Okay. CNN Plus, which is launched last month, is another candidate for the toilet, not consolidation. At the close of 2021, HBO Max had 73.8 million global subscribers when combined with traditional HBO. Discovery had 22 million paying streaming subscribers, though it had not broken out the numbers for Discovery Plus. Combined that must all be from 90 Day Fiancé. Pardon me. Compared with that for other niche services focused on food or golf food. You never know. With legacy businesses still throwing off billions in free cash flow, Warner Brothers Discovery, that's going to be a mouthful. It is not likely to make a headlong move in the streaming, however. The CEO made headlines earlier this year by affirming that he is, quote, not trying to win the spending war in streaming. Like its traditional peers, the company has taken note of Wall Street's recent cooling on the all-in rush to move content online. Yeah, because, I mean, you can put Friends online, but I mean, you got to come out with the next Friends. You just can't coast on Seinfeld reruns or anything like that. While the zeal for going all in on streaming held sway in 2019 and 2020, as companies finally rose up to challenging Netflix's longtime dominance, the focus now is more on profitability. Shocking. Reaching certain subscriber thresholds is only a part of the story. The more pertinent question is whether those subscription revenue rather, can be a building block of a truly profitable business. Well, don't include CNN with that because they are definitely not a profitable business. So, anyways, we're talking about Warner Brothers here. And it goes on and on and on and on and on. I tell you what. Okay, so let's jump over here real quickly to our other good friends at Disney. Yes, indeed. This is CNS News and Craig Bannister. So we've been kind of talking a little bit about the Disney situation. Don't want to get into too much of a detail. Other channels out there will provide plenty of commentary on all that sort of stuff. We try not to do that here on Bear's channel, but what we try to do is actually offer some solutions, not just complain all the time. Although Bear could complain all the time. Let's see, Republicans, those evil Republicans, set Mickey Mouse trap for Disney cartoons copyright due to company's radical political activism. Well. The copyright of Disney's most iconic cartoons is in jeopardy, and not the show, actual Jeopardy. And now that the company has begun practicing radical political activism, leading Republicans warn the children's entertainment giant. Yes, indeed. By allowing Disney copyrights to expire. Oh my. Republicans hope to diminish Disney's profits and, by extension, its influence over younger children and ability to indoctrinate them on radical political ideologies. I don't think that that's going to do it by Steamboat Willie here. I don't know how many kids out there know about Steamboat Willie, but it's more in the right direction here. Yes, indeed. VM said yes. All right. We will let Chips fall where they may here. I don't watch CNN. What could Plus have to offer me? I'm not sure. More of a headache, probably. A representative, Jim Banks, who chairs the Republican Study Committee, a prominent caucus with significant influence over GOP legislative efforts. Sure thing, Jim. Is presently circulating a letter, always circulating a letter. A sternly worded letter, I bet. Addressed to Disney CEO, Bob Chapek, expressing opposition to, quote, further extensions applicable to Disney's copyrights. Well. In the letter, Banks cites the company's kowtowing. I believe that is racist, sir. That is racist. Kowtowing. And to the People's Republic of China. Well, yeah, there you go. As well as opposition to the Parental Rights in Education Bill. They called that the Don't Say Gay Bill here in Florida. Kind of stupid. Which Banks argues represents a capitulation to, quote, far-left activists through hypocritical woke corporate actions. Wow. As reasons for opposing another copyright extension. Well, in addition to that, let's say that is the baseline to it. How about we don't reason that we don't extend the copyright here is because, let's see, Disney died in 1963, 2, 1, something like that. He died a while back. More than 50 years ago. So basically, if we were going on the traditional copyright, all his stuff, I mean, you think about all this stuff, not just Steamboat Willie here, all the stuff would be copyright free now. One of the things that Disney's been doing, a lot of people don't know, Disney is more of an IP company. In other words, intellectual property company. They are more of that than they are a movie company or they are a theme park company. So let's say, for example, Star Wars. They didn't necessarily buy Star Wars just because they were great Star Wars fans. I always said Star Trek. Star Wars fans. They did it because it was an intellectual property that they wanted. They could, put it out, all the toys and all that sort of stuff, the theme parks, all that sort of. They wanted the intellectual property. They really didn't care too much about the actual movie there. So I think in addition to what he is saying here about the far left activism and woke corporations, in addition to that, what they really need to get back to is actual copyright sunsetting of some of that stuff after the main person has died. Because I mean, we have copyrights for all your Marvel stuff, all that's copyrighted and to eternity. So I wish actually they would go further than that. So let's continue on here. Actually, let me get a drink. 1966. Thank you, Marco, for everything. That chat. Bear's Other Brain. The first Disney product at risk of losing its copyright is the company's groundbreaking Steamboat Willie, which ended animation's silent era. But we're talking about the silent era here. Let's see, I'm trying to remember the talkies. Basically, when movies started to have sound was 1930. I want to say 33, 32, somewhere right around there. That's how long we're talking. We're almost talking 100 years here. Holy moly. Disney Steamboat Willie is a landmark in the history of animation. It sure is. The first film starring Mickey Mouse to be released with synchronized sound. That was a big deal back then. It threw silent animation into obsolescence and launched an empire. An evil empire, some might say. Previously, there had been little to distinguish Disney cartoons from those of his competitors. He was facing bankruptcy when director Alan Crosland's film The Jazz Singer talk about a movie that would not be released today. If any of you want, just go have a little laugh. I think that was a Warner Brothers movie, if I'm not mistaken. That actually saved Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers was, I believe, going bankrupt, and they came out with The Jazz Singer. So if you ever want to check out, you don't need to watch it, but just check out the backstory or just the plot of The Jazz Singer, and you'll wonder why it won't be made today. Let's see. With long sequences of song and dialogue. It took the United States by storm. In 1927. Holy cow. Sensing that movies with sound meant big business, Disney decided to stake all on his talking mouse. Who wouldn't? I mean, listen, I wish people would stake all their money on a talking bear, but, it just doesn't happen. The movie opened at New York's Colony Theater on November 18th, 1928, a day that would become known as Mickey's birthday. Let's see. If Republicans gain control of Congress in November's midterm election, we'll see. They will be able to prevent the extension of Steamboat Willie's copyright when it comes up for renewal in 2024. Without the copyright, Disney would lose both royalties. Here we go, people. Here we go. Royalties and exclusive use of the Mickey Mouse image. So all those bootleg knockoff Mickey Mouse images, like on the T-shirts or something like that, you can see them from Taiwan or China or something. Those would all be legal. You could print your own. It would be totally. You could make your own Steamboat Willie if you wanted to. And Disney has been wildly successful in lobbying for copyright extension in the past. Yeah, here we go. It was part of the driving force in passing the Copyright Act of 1976, and then worked again to get the Copyright Term Extension Act in 1998 past the finish line. Detractors of the latter bill branded it the Mickey Mouse Protection Act. Yes, indeed. This could have went away in 1998. Imagine what we could have done in the meantime with that. You would have seen Mickey Mouse knockoffs all over the place there. Well, the 2024 expiration just applies to... Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Just applies to Steamboat Willie, a version of Mickey Mouse. Other description of the famous rodent would be protected. Again, this is where they're screwing up here. Let's see. It still would represent a major blow for Disney and allow other companies to use Mickey's likeness with no strings attached and without paying Disney royalties. Well, again, they don't need to do just Steamboat Willie. They need to do all of it. All of it. Disney died, when was it? 1966? That's way too long. Believe me, we were actually, I didn't quote it the last time. Had a story ready to go talking about Disney's, I think it was his great-granddaughter or something like that, just kind of bemoaning all the laws in Florida and how dare they and all this other stuff. Cut her off at the kneecaps. Cut her off at the knee. Not literally, please, not literally. Financially, just cut her off at the kneecaps where she's not getting all these royalties because her great-great-grandfather invented Steamboat Willie. You didn't invent Jack, lady, so let's let somebody else get a crack at it. Congress should not add to Disney's 90-plus years, holy cow, people, of federal copyright protection to incentivize its new far-left agenda, or just any agenda. It doesn't have to be far-left agenda. Heck, they could be far-right agenda. They shouldn't have that long. It inhibits creativity out there. When a derivative, let's just say somebody wanted to make a sort of derivative of Batman, let's just say. Well, you can't do it unless you go really, really far to the edge there. I call it Wuhan Man. We call it Wuhan Man. So you got to take it really far to the edge there to make it very distinguished from what a Batman would be. So if you let the copyright restriction lapse, then people can kind of do derivatives and not have to worry about a lot of that stuff. Let's see. Jim Jordan told National Review, adding that it's unlikely Disney will have the ear of any Republican now that it's given in to the woke mob. Yes, indeed. Well, that's what happens with the mob. Yes, indeed. Disney is in uncharted waters because of the radical activism of its corporate leadership, said a very thirsty and short Marco Rubio. Yes, indeed. I think he's up for re-election this year, so get on it, Marco. Get on it, little Marco. All right, there we go. Let's see. Has Bear trademark talking? Oh, gosh, dang, I need to. I probably should. I need to make a Steamboat Berry. Steamboat Bear out there. Yes, indeed. It could be, let's see. We've already got talkies. The first NFT bear. I could do a copyright on the first NFT bear, and that way nobody could make NFT bears out there unless they pay Bear his 10% for the big guy. Yes, indeed. I think I might work on that one. That might be a good one. Or you just right click one or the other. One or the other. So I couldn't draw a colored Mickey. Well, wait till 2024 and you might be able to. No, it's a I believe they would call that a derivative. So yeah, you wouldn't be able to like photocopy it and just color it in and call it your own. Um, you should be able to. I mean, it's been long past. Disney has made buku amount of money off of Mickey. So uh, what it does is when you kind of take that away, it kind of forces them to come up with new IP. If they're going to be an IP factory, come up with new good IP. They're coasting off of Mickey and then kind of coming up with new, whatever you know, gay this character or whatever instead of actual. Hey, our company is writing on a gay whatever character. Let's make sure it's the best gay whatever character because we don't want it to flop. Because, just because you're doing it for the woke mob, as it were, yeah, it better be profitable or you're going out of business. So that's what Bear would say. So kind of the through line through all this sort of stuff would have been kind of just kind of the thought on what kind of how sort of normal people can kind of take it and fight it back with some of these people. Bear's been saying for a lot of time, especially with the new Warner Brothers coming up. What was it? It was less than $25 or something like that. Okay, you don't like the new Batman or something like that. All you got to do is instead of paying the $25 for a bucket of popcorn, save that money and put it towards a stock at the new Warner Brothers Discovery Company. And that way you can go to their shareholder meetings, because you're a shareholder, and say, hey people, even though I just got this one stock, hey, I don't like the way the Batman is going. We should change it around. I think let's make a proposal of that rather than your normal. Let's see, where are they at? Where's our friends at here? The normal way of doing it of just complaining about it, complain, and then nothing ever gets done other than your super chats. And you can take your freaking super chats. You can take one of your George super chats and put it towards making a portfolio of Disney, Warner Brothers, whatever, and then going to the corporate board, the corporate meeting. Take your video camera along there with her. That would make a great video. It would make an awesome video. Now we just gotta complain. Bear's not gonna complain. He wants to do something. Gosh darn it. All right, let's see. Trademark to me. Pay up, Bear. Ah, gosh darn it. The second you put the pencil to paper, Disney's lawyers will be there like the fairy godmother. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. They will. They will. There was a good oh gosh, many years ago, a good Simpsons episode that kind of dealt about that. They had their version of Disney. I'm trying to remember what the name of it was. And they actually found it was like some homeless guy, and he actually had the original one. They took him to court and everything. It took him for everything that he was worth and everything. That was a good episode. Back when they. I tell you what, another thing bought by Disney, freaking The Simpsons. I tell you what. All right, well, you know what? We've kind of went through the whole cornucopia of different stuff here. I mean, from anime, from censoring busty ladies out there to, freaking the Warner Brothers situation, the Disney situation, all sorts of stuff. Even our the poor Capitol Hill foxes out there. Hate to leave it on a negative note, as it were, but I tell you what, we went through the entire list of things there, people. It's been a very full show here, and I tell you what, it's good to see some of the old faces here. Marco for Anthony needs to stop by more often. P Money has been just handling the load here the whole time. I actually had to go out and give him a freaking wrench just so we can kick the Russian bots out there. I tell you what, although we do enjoy our Russian bots out there. So, anyways, people, that's kind of wrapping it up here for Beer. But I tell you what, actually, Marco for Anthony, I tell you what, if you ever miss any of the shows, it is without the hyphen here. Beer has got a a new channel called Barely Live. So if you want to check that out, we got all of our archive shows. So if you haven't seen it in the past or anything like that, you can check that out. On the other channel, we're trying to take some of the live shows that we have here and just kind of move them over to the other channel, kind of make that specific for the archived live shows, and kind of do some of the more kind of traditional videos here. So we'll see how it works and see how that turns out. Also, we're going to try and do something with possibly another service. Kind of trying to figure out, trying to narrow it down. So like Odyssey or one of these other places. I need to do a little bit more research into some of that, but might be doing some of that as well, kind of splitting that off and kind of seeing how that works as well. Because I tell you what, oh boy, YouTube loves to shadow ban the bear. Yes, indeed. Let's see. Probably not much there if you're barely live, though. Yes, indeed. Ha ha ha. I missed the puns. The puns of Marco for Anthony. Yes, indeed. All right. Well, thank you everybody for stopping by here on a Saturday. You could do anything else, but you come here to Bear's channel. I appreciate it very much. If you haven't hit that thumbs up button, go ahead and do that as well. Bear does appreciate that. But you know what? All this talk about steamboat mouses, that's made Bear hungry. So he's gonna head back into the woods. So until next time, people, grrrrr.